What is something you know but you're not supposed to know? HR once sent me a list of wages for everyone in my department right up to the VP. It included my boss, my boss's boss, etc. At first glance, it looked harmless. But they had only filtered the list by job title so I wouldn't see anyone above me. I told my boss and I'm pretty sure the person who sent it just got to do Excel better next time. Talk. How my parents met. Mom was a stripper and Dad just happened to go there. That my ex is adopted. When we were long distance I used to call her phone directly using Skype for free from another country. One time her mom video called her laptop in the middle of our conversation to check up on her and stuff. My ex went to the bathroom and I heard the mom's mom ask her when she was gonna tell her she was adopted. My great grandparents were also brother and sister. I don't want to believe it but I totally do. That my dad wrote several suicide notes. A family member is HIV positive. Doesn't want rest of family to know. When he broke down and told my mom, I overheard. She has passed and he has no idea. I know. That my not married to my dad mother enjoys threesomes. She's not the most tech savvy person in the world and accidentally posted a threesome request publicly on Facebook. My dad killed himself almost 20 years ago. At the time my mum told me it was because he was having gay affairs with people and he couldn't live in that sinful lifestyle anymore. Turns out she cheated on him. And that was what sent him over the edge. I only know this because I was finally able to read a copy of his note last year. My dad had cancer. The family thought I didn't need to know that since I was in college. My mom had a child out of wedlock and gave him up for adoption. This was the early 70s. The restaurant I worked at had some pretty solid sweet potato fries. They come frozen in a bag. Everyone thinks we make it in-house. Just found out from my mom. My boyfriend's mom used to service all the men at a local fire department. Unmarried or married. Some of the men even got in trouble and were suspended. My supervisor is really close to getting fired. Upper management isn't supposed to talk about it. But they do. Probably because we'd all quit if we thought she was staying. She sucks. 2 things. My dad watches PRN while myself or other family members, but not mum, are literally a few feet away. He thinks he's good at hiding it, but has sometimes literally pointed the screen partially my way so I can see it, without realizing. The couches we sit on are next to each other but at different angles. Think an L shape. And hurriedly closes his tablet when someone enters the room. Not exactly subtle. Dad. Also know what kind he's into cause he never used to delete his history on the old family computer and I once had to help him download an app on his tablet. Typed in one letter into the search bar and up came a rule that I hastily pretended I didn't see. Creeps me the hell out. How dangerously close my parents were after divorcing. Overheard them talking in the living room one night, my bedroom's downstairs, about how my mum apparently set up a different bank account without my dad's knowledge. How my dad won't be intimate with her anymore cause now he knows she doesn't want like it. I was devastated back then. Now, I kinda wish it will happen just cause of how damaged their marriage actually is. Spend a day getting drunk with my father, who I'm not that close with and hasn't really been involved in my life much even though he lives one street away from me. Found out that the true reason that my parents split when I was 2 years old was due to my mother sleeping with my father's brother while my father was in prison. Also learned that my father used to beat my mother. They both used to do drugs and shady sh. And also learned that my father had the chance to have joint custody of me but he didn't bother going to the several court dates that were made to settle the matter. The last one hurt the most to learn. You can learn a lot of secrets when you get people drunk. But some things should just be left buried. That my mother slept with several of the men in the neighborhood during the time my dad was very ill and literally dying. That my uncle's son is not his son. His then wife was banging her cousin and boom. Baby. To this day. My cousin doesn't know and treats his dad, who raised him as if he were his own and had never said a word about it to anyone but me, like because of the lies his mother spread about him. I kind of want to tell him to do a DNA test so that he'll know and maybe Just maybe realize his mother isn't the saint she made herself out to be. Edited to @ he knows his son isn't his because he is completely infertile. My mum let slip that my grandfather and his brother used to RE her and her twin sister repeatedly. What makes it worse is that my aunt has Down syndrome and produced her child from one of the RS when she was 15. So my cousin is also my uncle. My mum was the first to notice her sister may have been pregnant and told my grandmother, which resulted in my mum being flogged so bad she couldn't go into town for weeks because her face was a mess. Mum let this all slip when my boyfriend and I were driving her home. She was blotto. Such a fun car ride. That my mom tried to have CPS take my daughter from me when she was born by claiming I used drugs while I was pregnant. I was 9 years clean. She tried again when I was diagnosed with cancer. You would be amazed to see what doctors actually put in your medical records. Just found out recently that my GMA, who I have taken care of for the last 7 years, doesn't want me to have a dime of the $100,000 life insurance policy she has. Even though she would have been on the streets without me. Feels great. Edit, I'm very sorry for not responding. I was asleep. I have posted about her behavior before. She is a narcissist and likes to talk bad about me to her children. I pay the bills. I clean the house. I do everything and she never even asks how my day is, or if she does. As soon as I get a few words out, she interrupts me and talks about anything she can get out of her mouth before I walk back outside. I cannot enter the home I pay for without announcing myself, and I cannot leave without her asking where I'm going and telling me I have an attitude when I don't tell her. When I am home, I sit in my car roughly 80% of the time and browse Reddit or watch YouTube videos and smoke. You guys are my escape. I am almost 30. It's not about the money. It's that she treats me this way and is still going to F me in the end. She knows I struggle to pay the bills every month because I'm taking care of an extra person. I was accidentally given access to all salaries for a large hospital. Finding out some doctors made $80K and others $800K was pretty eye-opening. Just tonight, my friend who I haven't seen in a long time invited me to get drinks after work. Then cancelled because she was too tired. I found the photos a few minutes ago of her and some mutual friends out for drinks. So apparently I wasn't invited and she found a better option. She didn't realize I'd see the pictures. I am about to graduate college. My parents were teasing me about setting me up on a date with a guy with black hair whose name starts with an M. I was irritated and kept asking for more details but wasn't given any. Yesterday, I was social media stalking one of my cousins and saw she posted a video of a cute black puppy named Max, of the breed my dog growing up was that passed away while I was at college. I had been planning on getting one later this year. After thinking a while about why my cousin would get a dog exactly like the one I really wanted, I remembered what my parents said about setting me up with a guy with black hair and a name starting with M. I went back to the video and sure enough, it was recorded in my parents' living room. Guys, I'm pretty sure I'm getting a puppy next weekend. I actually feel really guilty for finding out. My parents regret adopting me. That when my mother was pregnant, teenage pregnancy, with me, she drank and did drugs because she never wanted to be pregnant with me and was planning on leaving my dad, which she did a year after she had me. She went to an abortion clinic but couldn't go through with it. She doesn't know I know and I will never tell her I know. I didn't find out until well into my adulthood and hold no hate for her. Regardless of what she did when she was young, she raised me the best she could and gave me and my older sibling everything she could and was a hard-working mom. Edit, getting a fair amount of questions about my health or negative side effects from mother's drug use and alcohol abuse while pregnant with me. To answer your questions, I have not had any notable side effects from the substance abuse. I'm a little on the tall side, 6 feet 4 inches, but other than that I'm pretty average with no mutations or physiological problems. That my superior officer, who's a massive dick, is cheating on his wife of I think 15 years with the female patrol sergeant in our police department. I could literally ruin his life if I wanted to. Everyone basically hates him anyway, but still I haven't built up the nerve to face him. But if he's being a dick, I might tell him that I know that'll shut him up for a bit. Mom and Amp, Dad always have sex 3 times a week on Monday, Wednesday and Friday 7 PM or after work. Edit. Whoa. Thanks for the silver. Bless you. My dad had cancer and didn't want to tell anyone. My mother told me and I had to pretend that I didn't know. I might be a year older than I and everyone else have been made to believe. I was flipping through an old baby book of mine that I found when my family was moving and found an ultrasound dated in August the year before I was born, with my name written above it. My birthday is in September and the baby in the picture was very developed, so there's no possible way it's just an early ultrasound. On one hand, my mom is mentally ill and always had attachment issues with me growing up. I know she had issues getting pregnant and treated me like she had to protect me with her life when I was little. It would make sense that she would want me in the house with her for an extra year. I also developed really early, learned to read and write months before everyone else my age, and got my period when I was 10. Not super uncommon but still on the early side. On the other hand, this seems like an extremely difficult and illegal thing to do. There are other possible explanations. Maybe the ultrasound date was misprinted? Or maybe my mom had a miscarriage. That would be another thing I wasn't supposed to know though. That my mom and I make the same sounds when we climax. I really need to move out. And my parents really need to learn to close doors. My dad told me that my mom has embezzled a lot of money from the places she used to work. They both also did drugs. My dad claimed he did it for recreation and could stop anytime. Mom was different, and he said she had to have it. This explains her fits of rage growing up. Oh, ask Dad how Mom never got caught and he wouldn't give any more details. My mother-in-law got drunk once and told me that my sister-in-law has always been a real CNT, and that if she could go back she would have made my father-in-law wear a condom on the night they conceived her.